I'm going to talk about America, the America that I love and that gave me so many opportunities, and what we need to do to preserve that, make sure those opportunities are there for the next generation. Well, I think the biggest thing is that I would push for school choice. We have found that the closer education is to home, the better kids do. So, homeschooling, particularly good. Private schooling, very good. Charter schooling, good. Public schooling, in some places good, in some places not. So what we have to do is provide choice, because so many people are stuck in a bad situation. And, we desperately need all of our people to succeed, because we only have 330 million. And we're competing against China and India and places that have 1 billion people. And we have to develop all of ours. Well, I don't like the concept of regulation, okay? But obviously we do have to have standards. And the key thing is we have to make sure that any of our education institutions are doing their job and are getting our kids well educated. That's key. And we'll do what we need to do in order to make that happen.
After you made your comments on Sunday about not advocating for a Muslim to be president, not a single one of your fellow GOP candidates came out and defended you. Why do you think that was?
Probably because they're being political. People like to do what's politically expedient, not necessarily what's right. So to put the finger up in the air and say, well, let's see, what can I say that won't get me in trouble? You'll notice that I don't do that a whole lot. I am a person who feels that the important thing is that we learn how to engage in civil dialogue, not to get into our respective corners and hurl insults. If somebody says something and you don't agree with it, talk to them about it. What did you actually mean? What is your real feeling, rather than jumping to conclusions? For instance, in the program on Sunday, I said very clearly, I said anybody, regardless of their religion, if they are willing to subjugate that to our Constitution and to abide by our American values, I am for them. And then he said, well, what about a Muslim? Obviously implying that they did not fit into that category. As far as I'm concerned, anybody can fit into that category. I said it doesn't matter what their religion is. But obviously, if we're talking about people who don't fit into that category, I'm not going to advocate for them.
Dr. Carson, I'm with the student newspaper here. I have a question about millennials. The financial situation looks pretty bleak. We have college debt, we have the national debt racking up, credit card debt, and even though we're more educated, we're not making as much. So what steps will you take to alleviate that financial burden?
Well, there is no question, and I feel very badly for the millennials. What's happening is, for instance, our colleges, our universities accept them knowing that they can get a federal loan. The problem is those federal loans are not at 1 or 2%. They're at 5, 6, 7, 8%. And that is accumulating and compounding and really puts them in a very untenable situation. And one of the things that I would be looking at is altering the way those federal loan guarantees are done, so that, yes, we can still give that to a student, but the college would be responsible for the interest and not the student. That would encourage the colleges to look for other ways to finance, and it would certainly curtail their rapid escalation in their prices. So we have to incentivize them to stop taking advantage of the students. I have no problem whatsoever with medical marijuana. No problem at all. In fact, a lot of the medicines that we utilize very effectively, if we just put those out there, would be toxic and would cause lots of problems. Many studies have demonstrated that exposing the immature brain to marijuana can have deleterious effects in terms of IQ and other things. These studies are abundant, they're well known. Why would we, as intelligent people, want to subject our population to things that can affect them mentally? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But it makes perfectly good sense to use it as a medicine where necessary.